Hello class, I'm going to take you through the sentence types, and later on I have another video that I use for my English 110 class where I go more in depth on these, and I kind of make it into like a nice little chart for you to use, and I want you to print it off. I think it will help you. So there are three types of sentences. We have a simple sentence, a compound sentence, and a complex sentence. Simple sentence is basically a independent clause. It can be alone. It has a subject, a verb, and it makes sense. So let's take a look. Our daughter cooked dinner tonight. Subject, daughter. What'd she do? She cooked dinner. Our daughter cooked dinner tonight. So it has a subject, a verb. Does it make sense? Yes. It's a complete sentence. It's a simple sentence because it has one subject, one verb. That's it. Now if you look here, sometimes it maybe it has two subjects. Shorts and t-shirts. We have two subjects. Sway on the clothesline. So here we have two subjects but one verb. So we have two subject, one verb. Again, this is considered a simple sentence. Here, the children splashed and squealed in the swimming pool. So we had shorts and t-shirts, two subjects. Here we have the children. And what they do? They splashed and squealed. So we have one subject, children, with two verbs, but it's only one combination. So here, all right? It'll make more sense when we go to compound sentence. Just remember, when we go to compound sentences, just remember simple sentences have a subject, a verb, and they make sense. They are complete thought. Compound sentences. Compound sentences are two independent clauses or two sentences that can stand on their own, joined by fanboys. We'll go over fanboys later, but right now, let's think of the word but. Fanboys is like for and nor. What am I doing? Fan. For and nor, boys, but, or, yet, so. You'll go over that later, but right now they just want to give you a flavor here of a compound sentence, and they're going to use but. And if this were in fanboys, this B for but would be the B in fanboys. So let's take a look here. Oh, and they're not going to give an example with it, but let's take a look. They're going to give an example with and. So fanboys, F-A-N, this is the A. And then so, fanboys, the S would be the so. So the driver failed to signal and he went through a stop sign. So what I'm saying to you is here, this is a compound sentence because compound usually means two or more. So we have two simple sentences being joined together, or two independent clauses because they can stand alone. But let's just take a look here. The driver failed to signal. Driver is the subject, fail is the verb. The driver failed to signal. If I put a period here, could it be its own sentence? Yes, because it would make sense. Subject, verb, and it makes sense. Let's look on the other side of the and. He went through a stop sign. He is the subject, went is the verb. So if I started the sentence right here, he went through the stop sign. Does that make sense? It does. Subject, verb, makes sense. It's a complete thought. It's compound because we're holding together with the and of fanboys. So the meal was not hot. The meal is the subject. Was is the verb. So the meal was not hot. If we put a period here, is it a complete thought? Yes. Subject, verb, complete thought. And then over here, let's look at right here. We sent it back to the kitchen. We is the subject. Sent is the verb. We sent it back to the kitchen. Does it make sense? Can it stand alone? Can it be independent? It can. So we have an independent clause, sentence, sentence, and we're joining them together here. That's why it's compound. So now take a look. This simple sentence is an independent clause. It can stand alone. Compound sentences, independent clause, independent clause, independent clause, independent clause. Now we're going to come to complex sentences. The complex sentences are complex because now we're going to throw in a dependent clause. Okay, so remember, independent, 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 independent. Now we're going to throw in a dependent clause. And these usually begin with your keywords here. Okay, after, although, as, because, before. You guys use these words all the time. I just don't think you know why. I mean, it makes sense to me. All right, so let's take a look. Although I had a free ticket to the game, comma, I was too tired to go. So if I stop at the comma here and say, I was too tired to go, is that a complete thought? it is. I is the subject, was is the verb. I was too tired to go. Makes sense, correct. So this part is okay. This is our independent clause. This is our sentence. But take a look here. Although I had a free ticket to the game. So if we cross this off or don't use it, stop here. Although I had a free ticket to the game. Does that make sense, or do we need more information? We need more information. That's why this part here, even though it's long, is a dependent clause. It's dependent, or it needs this sentence, I was too tired to go. I set my alarm for 5 a.m. because I wanted to finish a paper. I set my alarm for 5 a.m. If we stop there, it makes total sense. I is the subject, set is the verb. I set my alarm for 5 a.m. Here is our, this is our independent clause I sentence. Okay, so if we come here, because I wanted to finish a paper. Because I wanted to finish a paper. Well, this because is setting up a dependent clause because we need more information. So this is dependent, and it's dependent on this independent. That's why it's complex. Okay. And then after the test was over, we got something to eat. We got something to eat. Let's go right here. We, subject, got, verb. We got something to eat. Does that make sense? It does. So this is an independent clause. Let's see. After the test was over. After the test was over. Does that make sense? No, we need more information. This is dependent. It's dependent on this sentence here. So you have a dependent and independent. That's why it's complex. Up here, remember, these are independent, and these are independent. Remember, they're complex because they have a dependent clause in them. Okay, and let's continue. Okay, do you remember when we talked about the compound sentences using the fanboys, and, but, so, there are more? There's another way that if you don't want to use and, but, or so, and I show this better in my other video, I just want to give you a quick overview here. So let's take a look here. We can use and, or we can use in addition, but, or however, so, or as a result. Now, if we're using a lot of compound sentences with and, but, so, maybe we want to spice it up a little. So what we could do here is say, Kwan is quite attractive. She sees herself ugly. So here we're showing contrast. So we would say, Kwan is quite attractive, comma, but. And then that makes this a small she. Oh boy, I wish I had a pen. So then we would go, Kwan is quite attractive, comma, but she sees herself as ugly. If we didn't want to use the but here, we could use however. But if we're going to use however instead of a comma, we're going to put a semicolon. However, oh my goodness, guys, sorry. And then a comma. So it would look, Kwan is quite attractive. However, she sees herself as ugly. So this is just to add a different texture, a different variety, more variety to your sentence structure. So if you see yourself using but a lot, maybe throw in however. Okay, and then if you're going to put but or however between these two sentences, fanboys, you always put a comma before it, which you'll learn. And then however, if you're going to use one of these coordinating conjunctions, you don't need to know that. Semicolon, however, boom, okay? So go ahead, do the practice in here, and I know it's a lot to throw at you, so, but it's good. Once you know this, it's good. I mean, I'm going to throw up my other video next week, I think, because I think it'll be more clear. I might even, I might try to find the document and put that up too. All right, I'm rambling, guys. I do that. But however, watch the video more if you have to, but go through the practices before you try the main or the mastery test, which will count as your quiz grades. Thanks, everybody. Bye.